Have you ever just looked up at the night sky and wondered, are we alone out here? I mean, our universe is absolutely jam-packed with billions and billions of planets. And yet, our home, this beautiful blue marble we call Earth, seems to be a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. So let's dive in and try to figure out the secret cosmic recipe that makes all this life, possible. Right? This is the big question. In this explainer, we're going to explore the incredible, almost unbelievable series of events and perfect conditions that had to fall into place just right to make our planet a thriving, living world. It's a cosmic mystery we're still trying to solve, and honestly, it's absolutely fascinating. But first, before we get into all the cosmic ingredients, we really need to get our heads around just how precious and, frankly, how delicate our home really is. Every single living thing we know of, every person, every animal, every tree, exists in a layer that is astonishingly thin. I love this comparison because it makes it so clear. Just picture an apple in your hand. You see that thin, shiny skin on the outside? That's it. That's basically the Earth's crust. The zone where all mountains, oceans, forests, and every city we've ever built exists. It's an incredibly fragile space when you think about it. So that's the key, right? This layer that sustains all of us is just a tiny, tiny fraction of the planet's total size. It really puts into perspective how limited and incredibly special this place we call home is. All right, let's look at the first ingredient in our cosmic recipe. Okay, so for life to even get a chance to start, a planet needs to be in the right place at the right time. Location is absolutely everything. It can't be too hot, it can't be too cold. You guessed it, it has to be just right. Let's imagine for a second if Earth was just a little bit closer to the sun, kind of like our neighbor Venus. Well, the intense heat would boil away every last drop of water. It would all just evaporate into space. And no water means no life as we know it. Game over. And what if we were farther out? Well, you'd have the exact opposite problem. The entire planet would become a frozen wasteland. All that precious water would be locked up solid as ice. Again, not exactly a welcoming spot for life to get started. In this perfect little sweet spot, this orbital path, is what scientists call the habitable zone, or my favorite, the Goldilocks zone. It's that perfect distance from a star where it's warm enough for liquid water to flow, but not so hot that it boils away. And liquid water, well, that's one of the absolute must-haves for life. So here on Earth, our average temperature is a pretty comfortable 15 degrees Celsius. Now compare that to Venus, which is sizzling at a mind-boggling 450 degrees Celsius. Our spot in the Goldilocks zone gives us the perfect climate for life to really take off. Okay, so location? Check. That's super important. But it's not enough on its own. A planet also has to be the right size, and it needs some serious protective gear. You can think of them as Earth's invisible shields. And believe me, size matters a lot. If a planet is too small, like Mars, its gravity is just too weak to hang on to a thick atmosphere. All those essential gases would just float away into space. But if it's a gas giant like Jupiter, its gravity would be absolutely crushing. Earth is perfectly sized. Its gravity is strong enough to keep a nice, tight grip on our atmosphere, that blanket of air we need to breathe, but it's not so strong that it becomes hostile. It's another one of those just right factors. And on top of being the right size, we have these three incredible protective shields. First, our atmosphere gives us the oxygen we breathe. Then, tucked inside it, is the ozone layer, which acts like a sunscreen for the entire planet, blocking dangerous UV rays. And finally, there's Earth's magnetic field, a totally invisible force field that protects us from harmful particles zipping through space. Without these shields, life on the surface just wouldn't be possible. So, we've got the right location, we've got the right size, and we've got all this amazing protection. But the thing that makes Earth truly special is how all these different pieces work together. It's not just a random collection of good ingredients, it's a living, breathing system. Scientists like to think of Earth as four big systems that are all linked up. You've got the geosphere, that's the land, rocks, and dirt under our feet. Then there's the hydrosphere, that's all the water from oceans to clouds. The atmosphere is, of course, the air. And finally, the biosphere. That's everything that's alive. Us, plants, animals, the whole shebang. The key thing here is that none of these work alone. They're all constantly interacting in this beautiful, complex dance. And that right there is the secret sauce. The rain from the atmosphere feeds the plants in the biosphere, which grow in the soil of the geosphere. It's this perfectly balanced, interconnected web, and this delicate balance is what keeps our planet healthy and, well, livable. But here's the thing, this perfect balance is really, really delicate. And for the very first time in our planet's long history, one species, that's us, has the power to knock the whole thing off kilter. So let's take a look at how our actions are impacting these systems that we depend on. Right now, we're facing what a lot of scientists are calling a triple planetary crisis. You've got climate change, which is warming the planet. You've got biodiversity loss, which is weakening entire ecosystems. And then there's pollution, which is contaminating our air, water, and soil. All three of these are putting a huge strain on that natural balance that keeps us all alive. Just take climate change, for example. For thousands and thousands of years, the amount of heat-trapping gases in our atmosphere was pretty stable. But then, by burning fossil fuels, we started pumping huge amounts of extra carbon into the air. You can see on this chart how that level just spiked, and it's trapping a lot more heat. It shows just how much we've thrown that natural balance out of whack. Now, the good news is we know how to work together to fix big problems. Back in 1987, the Montreal Protocol was a huge success in helping the ozone layer heal. More recently, the Paris Agreement set some big goals for fighting climate change. But as you can see here, we are not on track to meet those goals. The challenge is massive, and it really requires urgent action from everyone. When you step back and look at it all, our planet is just an incredibly rare and precious gift. It followed this amazingly complex cosmic recipe to create the perfect home for us. And so the question that's left for all of us is, how are we going to choose to protect it? What will we give back to our one and only home?